this is feeling like a Luna 1. Do you need some amplification?
A Luna, huh?
Double
I didn't
brain.
think A, though.
Oh.
Yeah, you're kind of setting yourself up for this one.
Oh, this game is now really, really rough. And
why did you pick that AA, though? Like, I'm trying to get behind it.
Like, doesn't feel like you have a good lane now. Like, Luna's a pretty solid period of lane in, but you now go for a really, really weak ranged laning stage hero that can get run over. And you know, like, there's nothing really T1 have that can get bursted. I mean, living armor, but like, what? And Enchantress is one of the better supports to deal with AA anyway. Like, this hero, you just pick up a creep, chase down the AA. You know, what is he gonna do? I'm not too much of a fan.
Likewise, I mean, the Brute is just a complete outpick at this point.
I actually really struggle to see what this last pick on Execration can do to offset this Brood pick. I think that's just a winning pick already. And Cuckoo's Brood is devastating.
So, they just need a good carry to close it all out. Peel is banned. Wraith King is banned. How about... Shouldn't be too greedy because there's Lash and Brood already. Let's go Ricky, man.
Okay.
Ricky's the pick.
It's not down the greedy route, which is something you're looking for.
Yeah, and it demolishes all 4 heroes on the board right now.
And those supports do 0 to a Ricky. He's gonna eat you alive. And they already have tower push, so you don't have to...
if you really want to secure the game, you can go like Medusa or something also. Because I think Medusa also is going to free farm the lane, and then you have late game secured. It's not as gimmicky. Or anti-mage.
How does anti-mage match up versus the Luna?
Radiant team pick. Drow Ranger.
Or Drow Ranger. I mean, AM against Luna is pretty good, but Drow against Luna is even better. Yeah, this is rough.
Yeah, I mean, what are you looking for? A position 2 for Bob? You have to have a hero that can potentially play in that Brood lane.
You gotta go Ember or Storm or something.
Like, you need a spirit hero.
What else could work? Let's see. Bristleback? Against Drow, though? Against Drow, though? I mean, I don't really see many great heroes from the mid lane against Drow at this point, honestly. Like, they drafted themselves into a very big corner, and that Brood pick just exploited them so hard.
Yeah, I think it has to be just like an Ember. Some spirit potential. Let's go Storm. I'm a little bit more worried that Storm doesn't deal as well with the Brood than I think Ember does, and I think you're very, very reliant now on, like, who actually plays in that Brood Mother lane. I think you cannot have only one hero against a Brood, because it just opens up the map. Like, now you know this hero is not going to be in fights because he has to deal with the Brood Mother.
I mean, who even is that hero? Doom?
That's a great question. I'm not sure.
Like, if this Brood rushes Orchid this game, I think it's lights out.
Does he... It's just the control versus Storm. That's the one thing you're worried about? No, he doesn't want the utility?
Everything. Like, what single hero can stand there once he has Orchid? None. Doom can't, cause the Orchid is too much burst damage. Storm, no way.
This is... what are the shining spots here for Execration? Can they play around... Can they play around... Yeah. That's all we're hoping for here. Like, they don't have some pick-off potential to... I guess the pick-offs are just going to enable the Luna to get to that late game.
I mean, it could be that Storm just goes completely bonkers, gets like a solo kill, the Lash. They don't have a whole lot of lockdown. They have like a Drow Silence, a Tree-End Overgrowth, and a Lash Stun. That's it. But if the Storm is not popping off, then have a hard time seeing what they can do.
And I think Storm against Lesh can be very volatile as the game goes on. Like, Lesh can build into Yules, and Storm, your cast animation with Zip is just a little bit too high, and a lot of these Lesh players are really, really solid with their timing of the Split Earth. You will get that connection before he zips away. And then Savage can follow up, and you can have an overgrowth. It's not like they have any defensive capabilities from their support, so it's definitely, it's not the hardest Storm game. It's not like you're versing like a Lion or a DK or something like that, Instant Hex, Nyx Assassin, but they definitely have capabilities. It's one of Bob's best heroes, but I very much did like the Ember Spirit. So, I mean, we'll see how they play. I just think this Broodmother pick was genius from T1, and it's a Cuckoo Brood. Like, you don't want to play against that.
I think that XctN is sweating buckets right now. I don't know what their plan is, how to deal with the Brood, but I do think that if Brood snowballs, this game can end real fast. Because it's gonna be a galaxy for the Ranger.
I mean, they know very, very well how to play around this Broodmother too. Like, it is something that they have looked incredibly strong on. And do you like that they're putting Zephyr on the 4? I think to deal with the Enchantress in the lane, it's one of the better supports, but do you feel like that's enough with what we've been seeing Zephyr do previously on the tree?
I mean, Ench and Tree play very differently, of course, but ultimately, Ench is probably still a better lane bully than Treant is, and in order to secure your Brood, the easiest game, it probably makes more sense. What are they against? Lion and AA? Oh, sorry, Luna A. Sounds pretty simple.
Is that just
30 seconds
constant beam, constant chilling touch? Is that how you play the lane here for Execration?
Yeah, I think it's the only way. But once Brood reaches 6, I don't know who goes there. I think Storm will have to get like a couple of good rotations in on the Broodmother.
Yeah, we could see, I mean, a lot of Storms have kind of played around this Arbed playstyle where you kind of play the jungle, get that 6, go back to base, refill up the mana, refill up the health, TP down to one of the lanes, and then try and utilize that early pick-off potential with the level 6 here. So, we'll see if that's going to be kind of the play here for Bob, how active he wants to get, if he's going to prioritize his own farm, which they've got pretty greedy heroes. I mean, Luna, Doom's definitely not the strongest lane. And I mean, take a look, Raging Potato, he's doing on Boots first as well.
He might be dead, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a lot of slow coming out. 10%, 12, 22. This is 47% slow. If he places the Nature's Grasp well, I think he might be dying here.
He might just have to TP out straight away, but he's going to use a lot of his Tangos. He's only got 3. Let's see what the decision's going to be for Raging Potato. Solid grasp nonetheless, and TP's a little bit too late, so the slows are able to stack up. Well, they actually don't get the extra orb here, okay.
Yeah, the grasp a little bit off the mark. Could have been a little better, but as I said, there's almost no region. He couldn't devour a creep.
That is, I mean, Lion also went Boots first as well, so Execration just really playing to pull the lane here. They've got very minimal stats and regen to play it out.
Yeah, they're both very low already. He gets to pull the creep wave, but can you hold it? Oh, actually, they're giving it to them. Okay.
They might be forced onto tower though. Whitemore's just gonna chase them down. He's a bit slower than BDZ. Oh no, some of the creeps went under the tower at least. That's the important thing. This is what the support wants to do. Just force these creeps to go under the tower. Make it that the full wave is not going to get denied against the Drow. And meanwhile, Savage is doing perfect. Drags his creeps out of the wave. And he's going to be the one that's probably going to deny a full wave here.
Yeah, this Drow's going to be free farming here no matter what they do at this point.
I like
Oh.
to keep my head.
Range
Stun missed as
kryptonite.
well.
Alright, what about mid though?
Yeah.
So, how's this lane actually fare though with Lesh and Storm? Is it kind of 50-50 or is there a hero that can kind of take the edge here?
It's just a skill matchup, like how many stuns you can land on Lash, and whether he can land some remnants on the Lash as well when he walks in.
Is there any level timing that we can see? Well, level 3 on Bob might be enough. He's still got a decent amount of mana to play with. Carl has to get cute with the water rune, and that's enough to give him the influx of health he needs. And TP2. Nice heads up play from Carl. He's going to take the secondary water rune there, so it's kind of back up to a respectable health pool.
It's another stun though. That's 3 missed split earths.
Those have an extra point though.
Pop. Ooh, one more lightning.
Got him. Very nicely done. Meanwhile, Palos, this is already not going swimmingly for them down bot. Cuckoo trying to play around with the regen. If he stays alive long enough, he can definitely turn it back as instead of getting popped. But now he's at again, a health pool where he can move back and forward. As the mischance with the Silk and Bowler. Double kill for Cuckoo. Delicious indeed, as this is another lane that's going incredibly well for T1.
And that's before 6.
Oh,
Level 3
no.
only even.
Is that just the
and
lane
mid lane
lost?
also, like we said, Storm needs to pop off. And he did pop off, but unfortunately not in the way we wanted to.
Just popped off all his health there.
Yeah, popped off the server.
I mean, did you actually feel like this lane is just now lost down bot? Like Cuckoo just got a double kill.
Wait, let me look at the cooldown. If his Q is up soon. He didn't even have Q. So if he skills it now, I think he can just leech to full on this creep wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. He actually just gets back to full health. Or close to. And then I think he's Gucci. Sorry, Paul.
You whenever we need it, you're able to be the translator?
You're not a
Well, I don't speak Tagalog.
Black, I'm
What is
disappointed.
Brute doing?
I don't
He's
know.
suiciding to tower?
Really?
To the impurities.
Wait, couldn't he just leech on the lane?
He had 2 tangos. And yeah, insatiable hunger.
Now they're actually giving the lane to Luna.
Ooh.
Not a big fan at all.
We were saying this lane. I'm like, hang on, is this lane actually just over? I mean, he's still going to come back really strong. He's got 800 gold that he just bought 1 out of it. Still 450 gold not spent after the trip back to base, so... Okay. Top lane, Drow. They're able to dive Savage here. Leech Seed heal. Not going to be enough as Raging Potato should be able to chase him down. Is it enough actually? Savage? He survives, okay. Well, Zephyr just gets a solo kill on RR. This is the good old Enchantress matchup versus the Ancient Apparition. Never feels too nice for an AE to get run down by a creep along with a hero that can just harass out a little bit better than you can.
Yeah, Enchant is a great ability.
It's
Such a hefty movement slow, I don't know.
55% slow.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't... It's just 1 level in it, 2. So one upgrade. Like, you don't go any higher than that. The fact that it's just a flat 55 is ridiculous.
Yeah, I should probably scale. Probably.
Probably.
Or you can just scale it up 55, 65, 75.
You were saying earlier that there were, a couple abilities that tweaked a little bit too high, a couple abilities tweaked a little bit too low. I feel like the enchant is definitely one of them. Right? Yeah, definitely. What, it needs to be 65% flat hero move speed, you reckon?
Well, I'd say you just scale it up 10% per level. And then max level is 85%.
Just stupid. What? Oh. Enchantress. What a hero. Do you like what they're doing though on Zephyr? Like he's kind of playing more for his own game at the moment, out of the lane here on the
he's
Brute.
getting very big on the end. She's almost level 4 already.
Top lane, Raging Potato. He's got a lot of armor here, chainmail, along with the ice armor and the extra buff that he got previously to the starting armor. But that is not enough against the constant poke and prod that tier 1 have, as Palos might get dived here. Cuckoo. So they got 1 point in the Insatiable Hunger, but Palos is able to sustain through the damage. Playing around with the 1 charges, Verify still available, but Bob's able to TP down. This is the rotation we were talking about, and Bob actually might turn this into a double kill. As he will. Zephyr drops. Beautifully done. Important TP from Bob.
Yeah, that's what we needed. And Lash doesn't have any points into Edict. Well, now he has 1. So that means the mid tower can't really get pressured either.
He did get a solo kill on Lion. I think Lion was just going for a cheeky plays. Carl might just get another solo kill. Great time of that Split Earth. He had an extra level in it. Quite often we don't see 3 points in Split Earth. Usually it's kind of the 2 is enough. But he's like, I'll pick up an extra one early on, and that extra radius.
Yeah, how's Brood looking? Close to 6. They want to kill him one more time before that happens. But he should be aware of this.
Should.
Or is he?
Isn't? Maybe not. Cuckoo, Cold Feet. Can they get the proc? They can. Palace gonna have another round up in the beam. 3 points in it. Living armor. I'm really thought this lane was over. I mean, I'm not a Brood player, and Cuckoo is quite the Brood player, but I wonder how much that denies that he had earlier is taking effect.
Yeah, the deny earlier definitely not what I expected would happen.
Raging Potato, cute Devour. They needed that Centaur Conqueror stun to set up for the Split Earth. They're unable to close the distance, so you know, Bob has been getting a bit active early on, a kill on the Enchantress, but you do still see that T1's lane's going incredibly well. I mean, we haven't put a lot of emphasis on Savage, mainly because this lane has just been a little bit more slow after the start, as it's got 43 last hits with 27 denies.
Yeah, I mean, it's to be expected. Simply because how the number 1 went. Oh, okay, she's getting taken down by the Enchantress again. Carl has to be careful.
I think the Eclipse level on Palos. It's a lot of magic damage that Execration have. And you see when they can dish it out directly on top of the Leshrac. Still with a great start that he's had on Carl. That's his first death of the game.
He kind of just walked into that one. Pretty risky to just run high ground like that and he gets punished for it immediately. But now Bruder 6.
Yep.
So goodbye tower.
Goodbye lane. Who genuinely goes down here?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I am so worried for this. Is just you're not gonna have a jungle. Your whole bottom half of the map is going to be completely taken away, and we're slowly going to see this net worth lead just continue to grow.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I'm trying to look around for potential heroes that could go there and kill him.
Radiant's bottom
only
tower
Storm.
has fallen.
I mean, he does offer at least a nice way to get on top of the Broodmother, which is always one of the bigger issues because of how mobile this hero is. And 454 movement speed, not even maxed out webs right now. You really rely on making sure you get on top of him before he's able to kind of play around with this stupid mobility and stupid unobstructed movement as well. So that's something that the Storm can really utilize here. But you know, who else does he play with? I mean, BDZ is only level 3, so the Lion needs some levels.
Over the A.
No, poor AA.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
No, Broodmother, get away from me. Now you lost your tier 1, and now you're probably going to lose your triangle control pretty soon as well, because this is something that the Luna needs to have free, and they've also stacked it up as well twice, and Luna hasn't thought about swinging on over, so Cuckoo's like, okay, free stack. I'll think about taking this one. Oh, got no spiders now. Might be a bit more difficult.
Yeah, they all died instantly.
Dire's top tower
Like, maybe I can't do that.
Yeah, turns out the lizards are pretty OP.
It's crazy how much they buff that.
Dire's
It
top
does so
tower
much
is under
damage.
attack.
I went from like 50 damage to 250.
It's like, okay. Like, it's
Dire's structures
bit
are
overtuned.
fortified.
Yeah, it's just
Dire's
like
top
add
tower is under
an
attack.
additional 0 at the end.
Radiant, they are... Should
Are
be
they
able to-
giving up top tower? They are. Wow. I thought with
Dire's
the
top
Trident they would
tower
definitely
has
defend that.
fallen.
Do you feel like they still were able to do that even without the Brood being able to link up to top? Because that's one of the bigger issues with the hero, that playing the opposite side of the map is very difficult without kind of sacrificing your
Radiant's
entire
tower is
bottom
under
control.
attack.
Yeah, for sure. Especially against a hero like Broodmother. What does he have queued up? Now it's going into the hood. I really feel like Orchid is perfect item this game. Guess he just doesn't like it.
I mean, there is a... Could we see potentially second item if he wants to go down that route? Or is the Orchid, you just really want this item to snowball and then go from
Not
there?
a snowball, but like deter them from ever coming. It's a great item against Storm, forces him into an earlier BKB or Yules. Like this, the Storm game is pretty free.
BDZ scouted out from the one solo spider, and that is not a position that a Lion can play right now. I love how Cuckoo's putting a lot more emphasis kind of controlling mid to the triangle, because, I mean, Luna, you really need this area. It's got to be careful, though. The hood's still not picked up, and we're seeing the magic damage come into play when they get on top of him. Very nicely done from Bob.
Broodmother is pretty easy kill, as you said, if you can get on top of him. Suddenly this Brookham isn't actually looking that hot.
Yeah, we were singing the praises of the hero, but 4 deaths here early on Cuckoo. I mean, Savage has been farming incredibly well, but so too Ice Blast, Bob, Zip in, Finger of Death. I mean, they just disintegrate the Drow Ranger. They're still looking for their own rebuttal. It's a great overgrowth from Whitemon. Nets them the Bob kill. It's going to net them BDZ as well, and they can chase down Ragey Potato. A haste activated for Carl means there's no escape for the Doom. So even though he gets to the safety of the T2 tower, usually is the safety, but not this time. As Carl, killing spree completed. And they can try and put a lot of damage onto the tower, forcing out the glyph here now.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Alright, Drow Ranger at least did get taken
Radiant's
down.
middle tower
So her
is
game
under
slowed down a
attack.
little bit, but the matchup isn't that great. Like, Drow beats Luna quite convincingly in that mid-game. But Luna is
Radiant's
farming
top
very
tower
well.
is under
About
attack.
1,000 ahead of the Drow.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top
What does make
tower
the
is under
matchup of the
attack.
Drow so strong versus the Luna? Is it just the capabilities to outrange that hero
Dire's
in
middle tower
fights?
is under attack.
Yeah, you outrange him and you pierce, of course, all the armor he has. Because Luna never builds into actual plus armor. It's all just base armor.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
See, I mean, Bob, so far, it's not popping off. Actually, in fact,
Radiant's
looking
top
really,
tower
really low
has
on the net
fallen.
worth. I
Yeah,
thought
he
he was...
is
Yeah.
much too poor, unfortunately.
I'm over here.
See if he can get a really valuable pick off. Ice Blast's gonna fly from the eastern side here. That is another kill on Carl's Leshrac. He's 6-2 at the moment, and that's a bit of a streak for Bob to pick up. Maybe that can give him a bump up in the net worth chart.
Yeah, surprised he didn't try to Yule anyone. Not himself, not the Storm,
Raging Potato?
Raging Potato.
Yeah, he's in
Death.
trouble here. Scorched Earth, you see how much movement speed slow they have? He's down to 100, even with that Scorched Earth pop, phase, and Windlace. And Fade Approach! There's just so many slows. I mean, the stuns are lacking on tier 1, but you can just play around with the numerous
Dire's
slows they
bottom
have.
tower is under attack.
Are fun to play into.
It's going straight into a pipe on the Broodmother. Interesting. Going for the full teamfight Brood that we've seen so many times. I don't hate it, but I don't know. I guess it's fine because Storm is having such a bad game. But if the Storm had a better game, it would be a nightmare for the Dire now.
Radiant are scanning.
Yeah, I mean, is he actually going into BKB next? Has he even finished one item?
Dire's structures are fortified.
Yeah, I think he has Kaya in base. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's on Kara. Oof.
Well, that's something.
Take what you can get. I mean, he's almost level 12 as well. See how that's able to help out. But I mean, again, it's just T1. Looking to continue with the pressure. Smoke up from them. Trying to head down to the bottom lane where Execration have grouped up on 3, but Pelos is like, nah, this is not a spot I want to be. Wait, is Ara getting out of dodge? No, he's not. This time, he'll run into Carl. So that is a smoke though for a support, and Luna is continuing to get a lot of farm, and gotta keep in mind as well, Raging Potato keeping up with the net worth. I mean, he's got Midas, got Devour, so if this game does get late, I mean, Doom definitely has incredible scaling potential.
Yeah. Once he gets to those, like, BKB, Shiva, refresher timings, very scary. We have to see Brood really pop off. Like, he hasn't really done a whole lot.
And yeah, I thought his control around the triangle would have been enough to really shut down the Luna's farm, but I mean, Palos is still farming incredibly well. Bob might get scouted. No. It's Remnant. Just granted the vision. Yeah, I really thought Cuckoo, with how he was playing around the triangle, would kind of slow down the Luna's farm, but you know, Palos is surprisingly getting a lot out of the map.
Keeping it at plus 1k gold. But if you're 1k ahead against the Doom, you're probably quite happy as well.
And once you see that kind of artificial net worth often for this hero. I mean, Devour is very similar to the Alchemist, where quite often you have this lead because of that extra gold you're able to find from the Midas, from the Devour. Yeah, once you find a lot more levels, though, you can, and the game goes on for longer, it really starts to add up here. But it's just, I mean, we're gonna have a super hefty mid-game clash. Is there a team that you're favoring then? Because you know, I was in the boat where T1 might just have like a 3,000 net worth lead after the lanes, but it's looking really even at the moment. So how do we feel like this mid-game clash is gonna, you know, take out here?
It will really just depend on positioning. Like if Storm gets silenced and dies first, they're most likely gonna lose the fight. But if we can get a good initiation on the Lash, or maybe even a Drow, could set them up for a very good fight.
Whitemon just runs into the combo. That is a lot of bursts, especially with the Finger of Death used. So BDZ happy with getting his second charge of the game. Meanwhile, mid as well, they're pushing back Cuckoo. They attempted with an Ice Blast, but without the Storm, very much lacking some way to kind of get on top of him instantly.
Yeah, Drow still farming up the triangle, very close to his pike, which is of course one of the better items for him as well. Just get some good teamfight positioning, but Luna is still farming. Has a shard queued up. It's a little bit early for a shard though.
Is this to help burst the Rulings? But yeah, you don't have a lot of damage anyway.
Yeah. Still didn't purchase it, which makes me believe that he's not gonna buy it.
Wait
Because
out.
otherwise, why wait? That's
Oh,
gonna be fine.
Dire's middle tower is under
they're
attack.
still sticking around though. BDZ and Bob, to which pickoff they can get. I mean, Drow is showing, but BDZ needs to be around Bob. They were just waiting for that Ice Blast as well. So unfortunately, a little bit too late there. They weren't trying to pick off there. This is all eyes on if they can continue to delay this game. It does feel like Execration favored at the later stages. Bob's going to reveal himself. BDZ needs to cancel the Split Earth. A little bit too late though. With the initial stun, the Gust follow-up, there should be enough control. And now that kill, we can see it snowball into an objective here for T1.
Dire's top tower
It was a
under
very late
attack.
stun from the line. I think you would have actually saved the Storm there. Perhaps wasn't ready for the Lash to just appear out of nowhere.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Man's just got to put his body on the line, run out. Force him away.
Radiant's
He
bottom
took
tower is
so
under
long to
attack.
land that stun. Fortunately.
It's unfortunate because Storm was already pretty poor.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Now it gives them some outpost control for tier 1. So more of the map getting taken away for Execration so far through that time. You know, they've shoved him top, shoved him mid as well. Raging Potato closing in on his BKB. Luna is going for his own BKB as well after the shard. She did commit for the
Dire's
Aghanim
top
shard.
tower
Okay.
is under attack.
It's a very early one.
Blessings upon a
I
loyal
mean, it's a very good one for sure. It's just generally you don't see that early.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
We are going to see a very, very big timing come through here for
Radiant's
Execration
middle
once they
tower
get
is
the
under
triple
attack.
BKB. I mean, Doom's just completed again, so it's going to probably take them 3 minutes to get there, and they're actually going to look to smoke up. We still haven't seen a Doom yet this game. BDZ pretty close to Blink as well, so smoking up near their item timings. We'll see if it's going to cost them here on Execration. Jumping on Cuckoo, though, could be difficult. He's got the pipe. Not the easiest person to bring down if he gets the pipe off before the initial jump, as they're going to go for the long wraparound here, Execration.
Look for the big prize at Drow. Playing it very safe.
Illusion.
I'm a little bit worried about the Storm, to be honest. His network is just not picking up.
Radiant are scanning.
Oh, wow, they're just going straight into Roche. Dire taking
Can
it.
you do this? No. That is a little too greedy. Probably need a kill or two before you can do that.
They smoked up under a ward here. Does get pinged. Execration need to group up. They're split at the moment, but if they can play around a high ground, they've got a lot of crowd control. Is AoE set up potentially for an Ice Blast? They're actually just going to smoke into Roche, but again, they're thinking twice about this. This is a lot of time wasted here for T1. So I just
A
want
lot
to...
of time not spent farming, but rather running around. Ench is running in, being a boss.
You don't have the Lesh there. He showed to take the outpost, but it doesn't look like Radiant feel too comfortable. They wanted to back off and play behind that Observe Ward, and now, once again, into Roche they go. Carl can rejoin them. Raging Potato. Oh, what a War Storm! On the 2, but the Doom's a bit early without any extra follow-up. They need the damage, and Bob's going to swing forward, but an instant overgrowth from Whitemon. He saw the line drawn, and Whitemon instantly counters up. Locking in Bob. He'll try and get the Essence Ring to the zip away, but is not able to play with enough mana here as they've locked onto their target. And Carl can close the distance. What an overgrowth! Whitemon coming in huge there.
Yeah, the timing was insane. He actually got a Blink Dagger on a +5 treant. Like, who would ever predict that? Sure, he has the Philly.
Roshan has fallen to the
Yeah,
dark.
massive items coming out. Like, that overgrowth completely saved them the team fight.
And this seems like it's a incredible timing now from T1. You were highlighting that the Drow matchup versus the Luna throughout the mid game is very, very Drow favored. And with the Aegis, this could just get very difficult for Execration now to play into the extra life.
Yeah, they also don't have Doom right now. And as we said, Storm is very, very poor. 200 away from his BKB still. His network is just looking abysmal. Like, Ench is creeping up on him, basically.
Yikes. This, Ench has got Glimmer and Force.
Yeah, he's really rich.
So stupid.
Radiant's top tower
What
is
a
under
hero.
attack.
What a hero. Time to just...
Yeah, you get a lot of gold passively by just pushing out lanes. With your creep.
plus
Nice,
70
his
damages.
top's gone.
Wild.
Radiant's top
Tier 2
tower
tower, I mean, you see how fast they're able to push. Drow. They're actually going to jump. Brady Potatoes. Locks him down for the Ice Blast. Meanwhile, Finger of Death to deal with Zephyr, but they didn't drop everything for that first life, and we'll see if it's going to bite them in the bum here. Savage still able to get back to safety, and they've committed pretty heavily here from Execration. They can't get back out of dodge. Palos pops the BKB before any abilities get followed up after the yours. Is just making sure that he'll keep this life.
I was a little scared of the Lash. I don't think they would have actually gone back and done anything to him, but better be safe than sorry. I've seen many times where someone just dies randomly because they don't respect the stun. But yeah, just standing next to the Drow as a range hero right now gives you a bonus of 9 armor. It's pretty insane.
Zip.
Look at the Eng next to the Drow. Suddenly 21 armor.
Yeah, my god.
Whoa, what I miss?
I mean, it's gonna be nice against the Luna. At least just split a little bit of magic damage with this hero, but still does rely on these right clicks at some stage.
Yeah, I mean, look at Brood item build. He went Aeon Disc. Huh.
Radiant's middle tower is
Interesting.
under attack.
Just a pipe bot. Looks like Cuckoo is this game. I mean, does that just show how absolutely busted this item is, though? Aeon Disc?
It has been for the longest time, right?
Radiant's
Yeah.
middle tower
It just-
has fallen.
It feels like the meta plays around these pickoffs, though. Like, again, we were bringing up earlier, but all these common heroes rely on locking one hero down and then bursting them from 4 to 0, and that's what the Aeon Disc now takes out of factor.
Yeah, but I don't think it should reduce 100% damage taken. I think I would be on board with like 50.
It's it's
Like
quite the
100%
item.
is a lot, obviously.
I mean, it's similar to like the Holy Locker. It just these items kind of weren't getting picked up a lot. Then all of a sudden they're bonkers. Wyvern, Phoenix picking it. Undying even with Soul Rip, like Enchantress, all these healing supports. Like, yeah, that percentage healing is really crazy. Like, it's anything percentage in Dota just is so stupid. Savage is potentially baiting down bot as the rest of the team are looking to link up. BDZ just gonna try and drag them away from the retreat. He is in no man's land, to say the least, on the line, but it's space created. They're just wasting the push that's inevitably going to come for the other side of T1. This Aegis, I mean, it's gotten them all these outer towers, but they haven't been able to crack the high ground.
Yeah, but I don't think they're really in a rush to do so just yet. Although Doom is getting stronger. It's just the Storm isn't really scaling at all. He just finished his BKB, but his next item is like light years away.
Do you feel like T1 have the damage with Overgrowth and then Drow to go through the Storm BKB? Because he's only got 10 armor right now.
I think they can kill him for sure.
Where are you going?
Draw range's damage is pretty nuts right now. And he's just gonna get stronger and stronger as well. Leshok is also filthy rich. Like, even Enchantress deals a lot of damage. Can't ignore her.
And it's so hard to target her as well. It's like, it's the issue with what we see. Like, bringing her down with multiple points in Untouchable and with kind of the utility items. If you don't do it to start, then it's like, okay, now you've got just Impetus whomping on you from afar. This pure damage really stacks up.
It does 100%. And you got Brood taking care of survivability, or at least trying to. Giving you all the information you need in the fight to jump the right heroes. How is Luna looking? He's going straight into the Daedalus. He's going to be outputting a lot of damage.
It really feels like Execration just on the back of Palos win us this game.
Radiant's top tower
Let's hope
is
your
under
damage is going to be
attack.
enough. I mean, it'll get to the stage where Doom, if he can get towards the later stages, potential double Doom capability. But it really feels like it might just be
Dire's
the
bottom
next
tower
5
is
minutes
under
where
attack.
we're all on Palos.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
They really are.
Structures
Like, I don't know if they're
fortified.
just timid, but they
Dire's bottom tower is
have...
under
Wait,
attack.
Doom didn't go for Shivas, he went for... Lotus Orb. It actually really quite cripples his item build.
Oh my,
Dire?
this is good.
They might get caught out here, Carl. He's gonna haste. That's not the target you want to jump. Bob's still gonna zip him forward, sets up for the combination. It's enough to burst him down, and they got really disconnected. The communication from T1 is gonna cost him another pick off as well, as Zephyr brought down from the glaives on Palos. Cute play from Execration. Great smoke maneuver.
Finally getting on the board. I thought the Lash was out of there. But gets barely pulled in time before the heroes can come out. Now the question though is, what can the Brute Mother do? Like, Brute tends to fall off badly in games like these.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah, and it has not been a game where we've seen Cuckoo thrive as well as what we were expecting. So it was definitely itemizing for the utility, which it's not going to allow him to scale at all. I mean, even if you don't go utility, it's a hero, like you said, that does kind of fall off. So is there a way you can kind of offset that from Cuckoo?
Not really. That's why I quite like this right-click build, because your presence in team fights is very much felt.
And at this stage, it doesn't feel like you can go back for that right-click item, though, does it? Like, you've already kind of gone way too far down the route of Pipe, Lotus, Aeon this. You're really on this utility. Just take the back seat this game.
You are committed, for sure. And Luna is getting pretty damn big.
Satanic next for Palos, and he's already got Manta to help with the overgrowth. Satanic's going to be another great way to do it, and they are definitely lacking. Feels like that burst for T1. He should always be able to get the Satanic off, BKB, Manta. Whatever they need to keep him alive. BDZ might have stuck around for a little bit too long up top as Whitemon and Calm, and they do have some numbers swinging on over. BDZ, I don't think he's going to survive long enough as, yeah, they pull out. The reinforcements, they think twice about helping out line. It's a measly line. Let him die. Deal out with the other lanes here. Continue to get Palos farming.
Where does he go? He's not even going to the Satanic.
Did you switch up?
Skadi instead.
Skadi, okay.
Wow. I mean, it's a tough choice. It's a tough choice because the draw matchup, as we said, is pretty difficult regardless of what you're building.
I mean, Skadi's really nice versus other range carries though, right? Because it has the double amp instead of the melee. I think it's 50, is it? Yeah, 50 movement speed and attack speed slow. Could that be some potential reasoning? Because he does see range carry on the enemy team?
I mean, it's a good item for sure against Raw Ranger. It's just, can you get in range to even hit her? Again, at that point in the game, it's gonna come down to initiation mostly. Can Doom find a good target? Can they bail out the guy that got doomed, etc.
And I guess something that we haven't really been highlighting is just the vision game. Like, I have all these lanes shoved in. It's so obvious on Execration's positioning a lot of the time because, I mean, take a look at the map. Bots over the halfway mark, top is incredibly pushed in, and the lane wards that T1 have, so that's just enables them to get set up just a little bit easier. So it's going to make it more difficult for Execration to find that jump, like you're saying, because they are very reliant on Storm, Doom, Lion. You've got to get the correct targets, otherwise if you kind of commit forward, you're going to get punished.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So they're just going to be waiting for the next Roche probably, try to pick that up ASAP. Satanic is also pretty bad against Drow because of the hypothermia, of course, which reduces all healing by 70%. And Roche is up.
See?
Going for a smoke play.
Bob, zip in. Aghanim sets up for the double Earthspark Ice Blast as well. They get the pass through. That's enough to kill off the Enchantress. BKB on Ragey Potato used early, but it's just mainly to get back to safety away from the slows. And the numbers advantage now for the side of Radiant. They didn't have to commit too heavily to find that kill, but Enchantress is up in 30 seconds here as Savage actually feels safe to walk inside the pit, knowing that the Doom BKB is on cooldown. It's going to make it that much more difficult for him to get into the middle of the fight and the back out after the Doom is used.
They're actually hitting Roshan?
Feels strong. I was like, why not? Let's go to work here. Let's bring the fight to them. Zipping again, Bob finds a Drow Ranger this time with the Warsong once again on top of multiple heroes. They got the Lotus Orb, a pump fake from Doom, so he uses it on the Broodmother. Buybacks galore coming out, but I don't think they're going to get the worth of these buybacks. I mean, Palace will TP out off the Aegis. Bob will snag the Cheese and the Aghanim shot, and all of a sudden, this game is blown wide out of proportion here.
Yeah, from a 6k lead to a 4k deficit. This is the scary part when you don't have the strong initiator. And we spoke about during the draft as well. You are kind of at the mercy of outplaying the opponent, which is hard to do. Like, they're not much worse than you when it comes to individual skill. Is it DD bottom? Man, those buybacks were costly as well.
I mean, they can get on top of Savage. They don't have a lot of ways to keep him alive. You know, a couple forces, but if Imon's not in the correct position, like, he's going to be a little bit further on the backline to kind of counter a team fight when you blink in quick overgrowth. So yeah, you really have to be cautious now if you're positioning on T1. As there we go, a Vortex again. He was up just afterwards with the War Stompins controlling the Drow. Savage brought back previously. A BKB, 1-4 off is out, but it's not going to matter. They lock on top of the Drow Ranger, and Akala as well is getting chased back deep inside the lane here. He'll pop the Bloodstone, but it doesn't matter. That extra health is not enough. What is going on? Execration. They're just...
What were they doing there?
Oh.
Good initiation from the Storm, but they have no business being there.
I mean...
They were completely out of position, caught off guard.
I've got to give props where it's due. Bob has not played a solid game on Storm, but this Aghanim's pickup is doing so much in the fights. An AoE stun from Raging Potato, an AoE stun on Earthspike. We're seeing like a pseudo vacuum almost with any AoE stuns that we see paired with that hero often. It's really cute how they've itemized on Execration. Now it's another jump.
And the next one, yeah.
It's... Now you can't position versus these. BDZ tried, I believe he hexed up a Spiderling, but as soon as you get inside the base with these glaives bouncing around, there is no defense that can be mounted. Are they just going to end it? I mean, you got Aegis on Palos still. Kuki will try and sit on the front line, but you're just charging up the Finger of Death. Kuki's down for 100 seconds. At least you got the living armor. But Palos, look at him just go to work. Yeah, he's like, all right, give me the full reset of the health. I mean, Drow's up in 20 seconds. This is gonna cost them heavily if they don't find all the objectives right now. As I think it's gonna take them too long to respawn though. Execration. They have the Cold Quit Stave just collapsed on T1. Absolutely collapsed. Execration. What a way for them to come back into this game.
Yeah, it looked very bad for them. But just this one jump on the Drow Ranger at the Roche Pit, he buys back, and then the next jump on the Drow Ranger again. Just super well played by Bob, finding the right targets every time. But I gotta say, the Broodmother did not impress me this game. There was nothing.
I
don't know. Like, you put my expectations real high, you know? Cuckoo Broodmother. Wow, you don't want to play against this. Okay, that sounds pretty juicy, but really, he didn't do a whole lot.
They got 2 kills as well in that lane. He had 2.
And then he suicided the tower for no reason. I don't understand that one still. They gave away so much to Luna. Like, she got XP for that. She got a free lane after that.
Yeah, it's I mean, you take a look at the net worth, the graph. My God, what a comeback! I mean, Execration. It's just T1 have a lineup where it definitely feels like you have to snowball this game in the fact that how do you take fights afterwards? You don't have ways to start fights. you're gonna run forward on less. You're gonna hope maybe Tree gets multi-heroes overgrowth. No, Execration. They got Zip. You got Doom. You got Lion. It's just so much easier for them to take the fights at that stage. And T1's positioning was definitely a big factor of how it cost them that game. I'm just so surprised that Execration were able to come back like that.
It was a good decision making on their part. Late game. Well, it wasn't really late game. Let's call it late mid game. decision making is super important, and they completely outplay T1. Draw Ranger out of position twice, Draw Ranger dies twice, game is done and dusted. Against the Luna, you make these mistakes, your base is gone.
We saw that, you know, kind of one big team fight after the other. Give away a couple of pickoffs. Luna, it's like, screw the set of racks. I'm gonna just hit your tier 4 towers. I'm gonna force a GG out of you, and that they do. Execration, an incredible swing through the past, what, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, I should say, of this game. Almost a 20,000 swing into their favor, allowing them to come back and take a game 1 versus T1. And oh, it's been a long night, but we do have one more game coming up shortly. Send this to a break and see you guys for our last match around the corner.